Yeah, the topic is latent heat of fusion. Okay, latent heat of fusion. That is the amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kilogram of solid into liquid at its melting point. It is known as latent heat of fusion. What do you mean by fusion? Tell me. Fusion. Solid changes to?
Liquid state.
Yeah, liquid. That is fusion. So here the latent heat of fusion, it is the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram of solid into liquid at its melting point. That is latent heat of fusion. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram of solid into liquid at its melting point. It is known as latent heat of fusion. Justin, can you repeat this point once again? Justin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, read.
Amount of heat energy required to change 1 kilogram of solid into liquid at its melting point.
That is known as latent heat of fusion. Then the next one, latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat of vaporization. The heat energy required to change 1 kilogram of a liquid to gas at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point. That is latent heat of vaporization. The heat energy required to change 1 kilogram of a liquid to gas at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point, it is known as latent heat of vaporization. Okay, so vaporization, it's the change from liquid state to gaseous state. And this latent heat of vaporization, it is the heat energy required to change 1 kilogram of a liquid to gas at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point. It is known as latent heat of vaporization. And what do you mean by this boiling point? Boiling point, the temperature at which the liquid starts boiling. Boiling? Tell me. Geraldine, can you tell me?
Particles from the whole of the liquid change into vaporization is known as boiling point.
Yeah, it's known as boiling point. So here the heat energy required to change 1 kilogram of a liquid to gas at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point, it is known as latent heat of vaporization. So that's about this chapter, latent heat of fusion and latent heat of vaporization. Is this clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Then we can move to the revision portion. Okay. So, which chapter I told you to study? Before that, okay, wait. Melita, Bastin, Dominic, Fagad, Abin, Anjali Priya, it's okay. Ashik, Sovel, Shania, Said, Sania, all of you switch on your videos. And tell me, which is the chapter? Name of the chapter?
Structure of an.
Yeah, structure of an atom. Which are the topics? Which are the topics included? Tell me, Gauri.
Ma'am, J.J. Thomson's model of atom.
Yeah, before that, charged particles in matter. Then?
Thomson's model of atom.
Yeah, Thomson's model of an atom.
Rutherford's model of an atom.
Rutherford's model of an atom.
Bohr's model of atom.
Yeah, Bohr's model of an atom. Then last one?
Neutrons.
Neutrons. Okay. Before entering to the test, I just want to go through these topics. So, first one, the charged particles in matter. Okay, charged particles in matter. So, in 1900, the indivisible particle of an atom is discovered. Okay, indivisible particle of an atom. It is discovered and it is known as subatomic particle. Subatomic particle. And what's the name of that particle?
Electron.
Yeah, it is electron, and it was discovered by J.J. Thomson. In 1900, indivisible particle of an atom was discovered, and it is known as subatomic particle, and it was discovered by J.J. Thomson, and the name of the subatomic particle is electron. Then in 1886, presence of new radiations in a gas discharge found. Okay, presence of new radiations in a gas discharge found, and it is known as, Adulya, what's the name of that rays?
Canal rays.
Yeah, it's canal rays, and it led to the discovery of a positively charged particle, and it was discovered by E. Goldstein. Okay, E. Goldstein. And what's the name of that subatomic particle?
Proton.
Yeah, it's proton. And this proton, it is equal in magnitude to that of electron, but opposite in sign to that of electron. It means that the magnitude or the value of this electron and proton, it is equal, but their charge is opposite or opposite in sign to that of electron. What's the charge of electron? Tell me. What is the charge of electron? Sovel? Is it positive or negative? Electron.
Negative.
Yeah, electron is negatively charged, and the proton
Positively charged.
positively charged. Okay, and its mass of this proton is 2000 times greater as that of electron, and we name this subatomic particle as proton. Okay, so in earlier times there was two subatomic particles. They are the indivisible particle of an atom. First one is electron, the next one is proton. Okay, clear? Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then electron can be represented as E minus and proton as P plus. Okay, electron as E minus and proton as P plus. And when we take this mass of proton as 1, what about the mass of electron?
Minus.
Yeah, it is negligible. Negligible means we cannot consider, because this mass of proton is 2000 times greater than that of mass of electron. Okay, mass of proton is 2000 times greater than that of mass of electron. So when we take this mass of proton as 1 unit, we no need to consider the mass of electron. It is negligible. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then this atom, it is composed of protons and electrons. Okay, atom composed of protons and electrons, and they are mutually balancing their charges. Mutually balancing their charges. And also appeared that the protons were in the interior of the atom. Protons were in the interior of the atom. Interior of the atom means it's inside the nucleus. Okay, and the electrons could easily be peeled off, but not protons. Electrons could be easily peeled off. It means that it is just outside as that of nucleus. So it can be easily removed. Protons inside the nucleus and electrons, they are outside the nucleus. Clear? Then we are moving to different models of an atom. So who was the scientist proposed a model for the structure of an atom first time?
J.J. Thomson.
J.J. Thomson.
J.J. Thomson was the first scientist to propose a model for the structure of an atom. Okay. So first one, Thomson's model of an atom. Thomson's model of an atom. Sania. Sania. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you read these points regarding Thomson's model? Yeah. Okay, it's okay. It's okay, Sania. Amarin? Amarin, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you read this Thomson's model of an atom? Point.
Thomson proposed the model of atom to be similar to that of a Christmas pudding.
Okay.
Electrons in a sphere of a positive charge is equal to dry fruits in a spherical Christmas pudding.
Okay, wait. So this atom is considered to be similar to that of a Christmas pudding, and this pudding is similar to that of the positively charged particles in an atom, and this dry fruits or raisins, they are raisins that are similar to that of the negatively charged particle, that is electron. So the pudding is similar to that of positively charged particle, that is proton, and this dry fruits, they are similar to that of the negatively charged particle, that is electron. Clear? And we can also compare this atom with watermelon. The red edible part of the watermelon is the positively charged particle, and the seeds are the negatively charged particle. And through this model, Thomson proposed 2 points. Bastin, can you hear me? Bastin. Sean.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read these 2 postulates of Thomson's model?
Thomson proposed that an atom consists of a positively charged sphere and then electrons are embedded in
Okay, then next one.
the negative and positive charges are equal in magnitude, show that atom as a whole is electrically neutral.
So the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. And what is the drawback of this Thomson's model of an atom? Thomson's model explained that atoms are electrically neutral. Electrically neutral means equal number of protons and equal number of electrons. So their sum is 0. The Thomson's model explained that atoms are electrically neutral. But the results of certain experiments carried out by other scientists could not be explained using this model, J.J. Thomson's model. So that's about the 2 postulates and drawback. Then the next one, Rutherford's model of an atom. What's the name of that experiment done by Rutherford? In order to demonstrate his model, Melita, Dominic, Abin,
Yes, ma'am.
what's the name of that experiment done by Rutherford in order to demonstrate his model?
In this experiment, fast-moving alpha particles are
Yeah,
made
what's
to
the
form.
name of that experiment? It is gold foil experiment, okay? It's gold foil experiment. And which are the particles used for this experiment?
Alpha particles.
Yeah, alpha particles. Then,
Thin sheet of gold foil.
yeah, thin sheet of gold foil. In this experiment, fast-moving alpha particles were made to fall on a thin gold foil. Why he select gold foil?
Ma'am, it was 1000 atoms thick.
Yeah, it was 1000 atoms thick. It means it is a thin layer. It is very thin layer, and this Rutherford, he select gold foil because he wanted as thin a layer as possible. So he select this gold foil. It's just 1000 atoms thick. Then alpha particles, they are similar to that of doubly charged helium ions. Doubly charged helium ions. And they have a mass of 4u. Mass 4u. So the alpha particles, they are doubly charged helium ions and mass is 4u. This fast moving alpha particles have a considerable amount of energy. So that's about this experiment. And anybody, all of you, please switch on your videos. Yeah, anybody tell me what's this gold foil experiment? Anybody? Amarin, can you tell me?
Ma'am, we should keep a gold foil and
Yeah.
many
Okay, then
electrons and protons pass through them, and so many get deflected. Alpha particles get deflected.
electrons and protons. Huh? Alpha particles, okay? Alpha particles from a radioactive source is made to fall on a thin gold foil, okay? And what's the main 3 observations of this gold foil experiment? Karthik?
Ma'am.
Karthik, yeah.
Ma'am, surprisingly, one of 12,000
Yeah.
particles were deflected.
Deflected means it rebound, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they form small angles.
Yeah, that's the second observation. Very few particles deflected by small angles. Then what about the first observation?
Pass through. Most of the
Most of the
alpha
particles pass
pass
through
through
the
the
gold
gold
foil. All of you, please switch on your videos if you have no network issues. Said, I read your message. Melita, it's okay. Devasena, Anjali Priya, it's okay. So the major observations of this gold foil experiment is that most of the fast moving alpha particles passed straight through the gold foil. Most of the fast moving alpha particles passed straight through the gold foil. And some of the alpha particles were deflected by small angles. Some of the alpha particles were deflected by small angles. And the third one out of every 12,000 particles appeared to rebound. It means very few particles were deflected by 180 degree. Okay, 180 degree means going like this and it turns back like this in the same angle. Clear? So these 3 are the major observations of this experiment. And the conclusions of this experiment, first one, most of the space inside the atom is empty. That's why most of the alpha particles pass through the gold foil without getting deflected. Okay. Then the second one is that the positive charge of the atom occupies very little space. Positive charge of the atom occupies very little space. That's why very few particles were deflected from their path. And the third one is that all the positive charge and mass of the gold atom were concentrated in a small volume within the atom. Positive charge and mass of the atom were concentrated in a very small volume. These 3 are the major conclusions from this experiment. Clear? Then through this experiment, observations and conclusions, this Rutherford proposed this nuclear model of an atom. Okay, nuclear model of an atom. And the main postulates of this nuclear model of an atom, the first one is that there is a positively charged center in an atom. And what's the name of that positively charged center?
Nucleus.
Nucleus.
Nucleus. And the mass of an atom also resides in this nucleus. There is a positively charged center in an atom. It is known as nucleus. And the mass of an atom also resides in this nucleus. Then the electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular paths. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular paths. And the size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of an atom. This size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of an atom. So these 3 are the major postulates of nuclear model of an atom. Clear? Is this clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then the drawbacks of Rutherford model. What's the drawback of Rutherford model? Minha? Minha? Srihari? Sean? Please switch on your videos. Dominic, Ashik,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, can you tell me the drawback of this Rutherford's model of an atom? Okay, here in this Rutherford's model of an atom, the second postulate is that the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Normally, a body revolving continuously, it loses energy, it radiates energy. Finally, it loses all energy and fall into the nucleus. But in the case of this atom, it is not possible. So, this is the main drawback of Rutherford's model of an atom. Okay. That's about the drawbacks of Rutherford's model of an atom. Then the next one, Bohr model of an atom. So, in order to overcome the objections raised against this Rutherford's model of an atom, Niels Bohr put forward the following postulates. First one is that there are certain special orbits known as discrete orbits. They are allowed inside the atom. Okay, discrete orbits of electrons, they are allowed inside the atom. Then while revolving in discrete orbits, electrons do not radiate energy. While revolving in discrete orbits, the electrons do not radiate energy. Okay, clear? The electrons are revolving in around the nucleus in certain special orbits. It is known as discrete orbits. And while revolving in discrete orbits, these electrons do not radiate energy and they do not lose energy. They do not fall into the nucleus. And there are certain orbits or shells in which electrons are revolving. It is known as energy levels. How can we represent these energy levels in alphabetical way? Tell me. It's K shell, then L shell,
K shell,
yeah, M
L
shell,
shell, M
N
shell,
shell.
and N shell.
And numerically 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right? Then the next topic is about neutrons. James Chadwick, he invented this subatomic particle in 1932, and these neutrons have no charge, okay? No charge and a mass nearly equal to that of proton. No charge and a mass nearly equal to that of proton, and it is named as neutron, okay? And it is present in the nucleus of an atom, except hydrogen. There is no neutron for hydrogen. That's why except hydrogen, okay? And it is present in the nucleus of an atom and it is represented as N. Represented as N. Okay, clear? So that's about the revision topics. I will ask questions regarding these topics in the next class, today itself. Okay? So all of you prepare well for the revision.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me take your attendance. Abin Thompson.
Present, ma'am.
Yeah, Ahlam Fatima. Alna Rose. Ananda Krishna. Anjali Priya.
Present, ma'am.
Anthony Maxi. Arun Bhaskar.
Present, ma'am.
Ashik Joshi.
Present, ma'am.
Tanya, what's your doubt? Okay, okay. This one? Tanya?
No, ma'am.
Which one? Which slide do you want to see?
Ma'am, the drawback of.
Drawback of? Which model? Wait. Throwback of which model? Tell me. J.J. Thompson's model or Rutherford's model? Or tell me the topic in that slide or name of that slide. Okay, J.J. Thompson's. Yeah, this one. Ashik Joshi,
Yes, ma'am.
Adulya,
Present, ma'am.
Bastin, Devasena, Dominic,
Present, ma'am.
Elsa Babu, Amarin,
Present, ma'am.
Fagad, Gauri Nandana,
Present, ma'am.
Gautam, Jerlin, Jaslin, Joel, Justin,
Present, ma'am.
Karthik,
Present, ma'am.
Kshetra,
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Lakshmi Nanda, Melita, Minha, Revu, Said, Sania, Sean, Soval, Sriram, Srihari, Swadi. Swadi, are you there?
Present, ma'am.
Okay. So all of you study well for the revision, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So thank you all. See you next class.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.